Hey everybody and welcome back. So today I wanted to do a really gorgeous, sparkly, daytime appropriate eye look using ColourPop and Makeup Geek. I was kind of inspired. I have like a case full of like these ColourPop shadows and I really just wanted to bust them out, and so I laid them all out and I looked at them and kind of just got inspired, and I'm using 3 of them in the look today, which is going to be this. So it's mainly, I'm just doing eyes today, everything else is already going to be done, but if you want to go ahead and see how to achieve this look, then go ahead and keep watching. Alright, so we're just going to be starting off with the shade Peach Smoothie, which is this one right here. It's just like a nice peachy color. And blending that all in to your crease. This is just a good transition color, and it's a little bit lighter than my skin tone, so just use a shadow according to just a shade lighter that's a little bit warm to your crease, just to get all the colors that you're going to be using right after to blend. Once you have that onto your desired amount of color payoff, I'm going to go in with the first shadow, and pretty much the rest of the majority of these are going to be from ColourPop, and this is just the shade Bubbly, which is just like a really pretty bright pink. And I'm just going to be using a flat brush for this, which is the best way to get a compact amount of color on there. And I do already have an eye base and primer on beforehand. I'm going to go ahead and pat this all over except for that inner corner of the eye. And this is just a really, really pretty, super sparkly pink shadow. When it goes into natural light, it is stunning. With all these, it's really good because you can have as much or as little color payoff as you want. So I'm just going to go ahead and pack this on multiple times until I get to the amount so we can really start to see that pink pop. And then once you have that as bright as you want it, which is, if you can see, it's just so amazingly metallic and glittery, I'm going to go ahead with the next color, and it is just in the shade Halo, and it's a really pretty light peach, kind of like a slight shimmer finish. And this one I'm just going to be going in with a really tiny flat brush to pop this on to that inner third where we didn't put any of the pink. This one you can definitely apply with your finger if you want to get really into that corner and get a little bit more compact color without having to dip so many times back into the brush, or sorry, dab back into the product. But since I'm just getting such a small area, the smaller brush is a little bit better just to kind of get it more precise in there. And this is just going to open that inner corner right there and just kind of dab between the line so it's a little bit more blended and there's a seamless transaction between the two shades fading into one another. And next we're going to be using the shade Amira, which is one of my favorite ColourPop shadows that I have. It's this amazing like bronzy rose gold, and it has like pink flecks in it. It probably won't come off on camera, but if you own this or grab this in person, it is ridiculously beautiful, which is why I chose to use that pink shimmer shadows, just so that the pink undertones and flecks in this Amira just pop really, especially when you get into any kind of natural light or fluorescent light. I should be going ahead with a more dense fluffy brush and popping this just on that outer third and kind of bringing it around just a little bit. It's just going, you can definitely use a smaller brush. I just like kind of the way this kind of blends and puts the color on one. And this is just one of my favorite brushes. It's a Morphe brush. It is the M433, which is one of my favorites. I can bring that color just a little bit over, not too much. And with this color, I don't dip it back in to the product. It's just the initial first time is the only time that pop of color goes on. And then I'm just going to go back in and blend that Amira shade back into the peach smoothie that we have right here, just for a more seamless transaction. And then to highlight underneath the brow line, I'm just going to be using White Lies from Makeup Geek. You can definitely use something a little bit more of like a creamy shade, which is what I tend to do. But I kind of like to use as minimal different brands in one look as possible, just because then I have like 12 things sitting on my lap or on the desk in front of me. So this is just going to be Makeup Geek and ColourPop today. And then I do want to do a little bit of tight lining today, just to kind of like bring that lash line up, a little bit of drama, but still daytime appropriate. I'm just going to be using the shade Mocha from Makeup Geek as well, and just a flat brush. So just really squeeze that really close onto that lash line. And this will just help as well too when you bring your lashes on, to make it a little bit more of so where you can't tell. So it kind of helps to hide it. And you could definitely go as intense or as light-handed with this shade as you'd like. I'm mainly just using it for a little bit of depth here, but I don't want anything too dramatic either. And then with these colors, the ColourPop, when you blend it out, you kind of tend to lose a little bit of that pigmentation. So I just go ahead and I went in and re-popped everything just a little bit more, just on the lid area, to give it a little bit more of that intensity after you put the Mocha down in your lash line. And then just to smoke out the lash line, I'm going to be using that same shade of Mocha, and then going in with the Amira, that pretty goldeny bronze shade, just to smoke it out a little bit. And I do want to leave the inner the inner corner of my eye blank, so that I can add a little bit more of that peachy shade just onto that inner lower corner as well, just to keep this area really bright and open. So just go ahead and do that part right now. Same little tiny brush, just go in and connect those two. And then this part I'm just going to be going in with that shade Amira, just to kind of super smoke out that lower lash line right under the Mocha shade from Makeup Geek. Then it's just time to quickly pop on some mascara and lashes. I'm just going to be using the exact same mascara that I always do. And then, just in case I have not raved about the roller lash from Benefit, this is yet another example of how amazing it is. I highly recommend this bad boy. And for lashes, I'm just going to be using the Foxy Locks lashes, and they look like that. They're just called Pretty Lashes. That is the style. Go ahead and pop that on, and I will come back for the finished look. And then this is the finished look. So with these shadows, they're so awesome. I love that the versatility of them, that you can go from like super dramatic to something super day appropriate, or kind of just use this look to vamp up something if you're going out at night and you want to have something a little bit more simple. So these shadows from ColourPop I highly recommend if you're looking for something that's not a pigment, because I personally am not a pigment fan. I feel like that's just too much for me, but I feel like these are amazing because they're just as sparkly and just as like oomph as a pigment would be, but you have them in a pot version, and they're just so much easier in my opinion to work with. It's just when you do blend them together, make sure you go back on and pop that color on just one more time, just to make sure that you can actually see what the colors are, to give you that like pow on your look. Alright, well, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!